Good morning. Today we're going to see how to create a route on Outdooractive My Business. First of all, before doing anything else, once we connect onto My Business, we scroll down to the bottom and make sure that we want to use the platform in English or in another language, like for example, Greek, French, German, Italian, or any other of these languages. Why is this important? Because the language that we're going to use the platform in is the language of the input that we're going to do as well. So if I use it in English, the text and information that I'm going to input will be in English as well for the platform to work properly. If I use it in French, I need to use French in my input. As we're going to see later, you can also translate automatically each content, but the very first content that you're going to insert should be in the language of the platform. We're going to keep using English here. And as you see, I am in the home of my dashboard for Paths of Greece. On the left side, we have the Content Manager tab, and under it, the content, clicking on it. And under content, we're going to choose routes. A new page opens. Here you may find routes from a previous works that you've done, or none at all. In any case, what we need to do is to click on this green button, create a new route. A new page opens, loading a map, and on the left side, we can see this plan your own route. First step to do is to choose what type of trail we're going to record. While opening this list, you can see that you have different hiking trail types, cycling, running, mountaineering, etc., etc. We're going to use a simple hiking trail. Second thing is to go to the area that is of interest to us. So I'm going to go down to the island of Kythera in Greece, to the south of the island, and I can see now that I have this orange reddish highlight for the official routes that already exist. If the background of the map is not sufficient for me or not adequate for what I want to do, I can click here and choose, for example, a satellite map. And we're going to see that this will change to the satellite map, always showing the official routes. For this tutorial, we're going to use the OpenStreetMap. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. And the very first thing we want to do is to spot the start and the end of the route that we're interested in creating. So for this tutorial, we're going to create a route from Kapsali over here by the sea to Kythera, the capital of the island. I'm clicking here where it says A, choose your starting point, zooming in to the very spot that I want my trail to start from, and I just click on the map. We can see that a point A is created, and here you can see it takes some information about this point A. I have two options now. Either I click at the very end of the trail that I want to create and let the machine do the rest of the work, choosing the best possible hiking trail connection between these two spots, or I can click consecutively to different points, making sure that I include the parts that interest me. First step for us is to just go to the end of the trail, which is in the central square of Kythera, and click on the second point. Now, if I zoom out, you're going to see that there is a blue line linking point A to point B. What Outdooractive backend has done is that it connected point A to point B through a hiking trail, because I chose a hiking trail, in the best possible manner, using the background data that it has on the map, trying to combine as many trails as possible. And you're going to see that if I zoom in, almost all of this is a hiking trail. Okay. So now, what I want to show you is what will happen if I just, I'll zoom out a little bit. If I just want to put a intermediate point, let's say that I didn't want the trail to go through here, but I wanted to go through this trail over here. In that case, I'm just going to take this black dot that appears as soon as I bring the mouse over the blue line, click on it, drag it, and let it, sorry, drag it and let it on the trail of my choice. We see that automatically the routing has changed to bring it to the place that I wanted the trail to pass by. Let's say that from point C, which is now our last point, I want to extend the trail and bring it to this place over here at the very end. So I'm just clicking on D over here to the left list, and I'm going to click on the map at the end of this, at the point where I want it to be. So we see that there is an extension now of the trail going all the way down to point D. While doing all these moves, we can see that at the bottom of the map, Outdooractive is automatically updating the distance, the estimate duration, the ascent and the descent of the trail, and also estimates the technicalities and the how difficult, I mean, the difficulty level of the trail. It also gives me a profile, including the type of route that I'm going to walk on, whether it is a path, traces of trail. This is basically the last part, a dirt road, asphalt, etc., etc. So let's say that finally I wanted to just shorten a little bit the trail and not do this last section. So I'm just taking dragging it back to here, and we see that this last section is not blue anymore, and we see that this 4.7 kilometers of distance have become just 4 kilometers of distance. There's also another thing. Let's say that the background map, in our case OpenStreetMap, does not have the trail that I know exists. In that case, I can click on this turn follow paths off, and here I go to E, which is after D, and click on the map. We're going to see that Outdooractive does allow me to create a trail where none exists. Be aware that when you do this, you must make sure that a trail exists. To do this, the best option is to use the satellite map and make sure that where I drew a trail indeed exists. In our case, it doesn't. So I'm just going to go to E and remove it by clicking on it and then clicking remove on the small pop-up window. And I'm going to do this for every single point that I've added there. Or I can also just select here a section. So you see, I've selected, I draw a rectangle over the map to select the points. So I've selected these points and I click on delete selection and just deletes it. Very handy tool. Once I'm done with my route and I'm happy with it, let's say that this is our final route, I click on save. When I click on save, I see that I have multiple tabs that are possible to click on, and a title drafted on 2025-12-17. The very first tab that is activated, the description tab, calls me to add a title. So I'm going to create here a test trail. In case I want this title to appear in other languages, again, I remind you, it's very important, since we're using it in English, to also put the text in English. But if I want to also put it in French, let's say, I'll go here, I'll click the translation button, go from English, which is the default language, to Français, and here I will click Sentier Test and save. This means that now, if I publish my trail, the title will be working in the English platform as well as in the French version of the platform. When I'm here, I can also change the activity if I want. I strongly advise you to add a summary and respect the characters, and of course, a description. It is always good and advised to put an author's advice, because this shows that it is a human, a real person that has really created this content. Also, safety information, if there are any safety issues, equipment, and why not, tips and suggestions. Putting a starting point, for example, the post office in the central square, or here the restaurant XYZ in that village, is also quite helpful for the hikers. For the roadbook, this is created automatically, so you don't need to do anything except if you have one already. In internal mode is for your own usage. Now not going to add anything here, but before changing any tab, I'm going to click on Save. If I don't, then the platform will ask me if I would like to save my changes. And if I click No, then I will lose them. Second very important tab is the Details. Here, Outdooractive has automatically calculated everything for me, but I can, if I want, change some of this data. The only data that I cannot change is the distance. If I scroll below, I can find the difficulty, and the stamina means what effort do I need to put to do this trail. And you can see that under it, you always have a explanation. Easy, possible without preparation, that's for number 2. If I click on number 1, very easy, can be done by anyone without prior training. If I click on 6, very demanding, very good fitness and previous training are essential. We're going to keep it on 2. Hiking difficulty is basically the terrain difficulty. It might be a flat trail, not much stamina required, but the trail might be really rugged, on rugged terrain. So here again, I can choose the category, and depending on what I choose, I get an explanation over here. This very trail is T2. And then I can put some special features like the overall experience or the landscape. The displayed region that I choose for me would be the municipality of Kythera, or you can also just leave it blank, which we're going to do now. Best time of the year, either all year, not really true in Greece, or we can choose October, November, and then from March, April, and May, which are the best hiking seasons for Greece. Over here, we have the linear route. We can put the out and back if we designed it to go back. So if our last point, you remember the A, B, C, D, E, etc. If the E point, the last point that we had, goes back to the beginning of the trail, Outdooractive will calculate the whole back and forth distance, and then we'll click an out and back. Here is a linear route. We can click on Scenic, we can click on refreshment stops available, etc., etc. Okay, if we have any sustainability certificates or other things, we can just put them on. Any literature that we would like people to invite to read about, and etc., etc. And the author, we can either put an author from our organization or just a name over here if it's somebody else. Again, we click on Save. Once we're done, then we can just explore the rest of the tabs, the getting there, for example, where we give information about the public transport or a private car. We can create events that are linked or link events to this trail, for example, a celebration of a saint or something else. We can link points of interest. We can add media, which is also very important. So here, what Outdooractive does is that it directly invite us to use media of either the whole Outdooractive platform from that area or our own media from that area. In that case, we can see that we have some images here, and I'm going to select some of them, which are indeed over there. And this is the peninsula, if for those of you who noticed it. So we're checking some of the media, or we can also upload our own images if we want. I add the selected images, and don't forget to also use one of these as a thumbnail image, and one of the most impressive ones, I think, is this one. So I'm going to use it as a thumbnail image. You can also reorder them by just dragging them from here, one over the other, and that's in the order of appearance on the trail that we were going to see. And I can, of course, add more media, videos, and stuff like that. Media are automatically saved, so no save button over here for the media. Then I can export a PDF printout, a PNG as a minimap, save the GPX file, etc., etc. This is for you to explore. And I arrive to the status. The status, of course, gives me a translation overview. So it tells me that, okay, you're done in English, you have some information in French, the other languages do not appear. If I put Greek or if I put German, etc., they will appear. And we have the status of the route. What does this mean? If the route is closed by any landslide, by any whatever weather conditions or something else, we can just say that the route is closed. Not set or open means that people can see it. If we put closed, users can still see the route, but there is a very red button saying the route is closed, just don't go there. For the moment, we leave it at not set because this is a test route. And if we want it to be published, we can go here to the workflow state, click on publish, and then save. Let's do that. Now the route is published. You can see it here, published December 17 at exactly this time. And now I see here that I have this button, View on Outdooractive. This didn't exist before. So if I click on it, a new tab is going to open, and I can see my trail as I created it with this thumbnail image. Click here, see the rest of the images, and all the technical data, the map. And in addition to this, we see that Outdooractive has automatically, as it is a very kind platform, taken points of interest and added them on my route so that my route is even more appealing to the user. We can see here the main technical data, the weather, and some statistics which are very important. Now, the last thing I want to tell you is the rank, the trail rank. Depending on the amount of things that I add on my trail, like a summary, a description, an author's advice, photos, good quality photos, and other things like the stamina requirements, the different filters, etc. Uh, Outdooractive gives my trail a rank. The closer to 100, the better my trail it is. So more visibility it will get, and more people are going to click on it, which is what I would like them to do. So make sure that you go back to these tabs and fill them in. And don't forget that if you by any chance find any mistake in the routing, you can always go back to the tab route and change whatever you want. Thank you for listening, and I'm waiting for your comments in case you have any questions.